Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. In this video we'll be going over the Magicka Warden bear build for Murkmire that I've been using. If you would like to see a non-bear build, please leave a comment and down below. So, stats. Max magic is 42.1k, magic recovery is 1.2, max health is 16.5, spell damage is 1.9, and spell crit is 52.2. I have 53 points into Magicka and 11 points into health. The boon I'm running is the Thief, and I'm using Witch Mother's Potent Brew. Now, champion points. I have 28 to Warlord, 28 into Sprinter, 75 Arcana, 64 Tenacity, 31 Shadow Ward, 44 Tumbling, 66 Elfborn, 75 Elemental Expert, and 22 Spell Erosion. 39 Staff Expert, 37 Master at Arms, 31 Thermometer, 20 Ironclad, 22 Spell Shield, 12 Light Armor Focus, 75 Hardy, 75 Elemental Defender, 23 Bastion, 43 Quick Recovery. So, that's it for the champion points. On to the sets. The first 5-piece set we are running is the Master Architect. We're running a infused Flame Staff on our front bar with a Flame Damage enchant, and a Maelstrom Inferno Staff on our back bar infused with a Shock Damage enchant. Now, what Master Architect does, this comes from Halls of Fabrication, which is the trial in Vardenfell. It dropped with Morrowind a while back. I still love this set. Absolutely. What this does is it gives us max magicka, minor slayer at all times, increasing your damage done to dungeon, trial, and arena monsters by 5%. Gives us spell damage in the 5-piece when you use an ultimate ability. You and the closest 2 allies within 20 meters you gain major slayer for 10 seconds, increasing your damage done to dungeon, trial, and arena monsters by 15%. Our bear is only 72. I want to say 72 ultimate. So we have this up pretty consistently. It may be a 2 to 3 second downtime in most parts, but that is pretty consistently. And it's also buffing the damage of the group. So we got to make sure when we pop that we are near the DPS and not the tank or the healers, because we want the DPS to get the buff from this. Inferno Staff, the Maelstrom Staff, basically your light and heavy attacks deal an additional 1.3k damage to enemies in your wall of elements. And light attacks got a huge buff when Somerset dropped, so this just makes them that much stronger. Now the monster set we're running is Zons. We're running a heavy head infused with max magicka and a heavy shoulder reinforced with max magicka. Now unfortunately I have not gotten a medium shoulder. You definitely want a medium shoulder because you want the 5-1-1 setup for the Undaunted, but unfortunately right now I do not have it. And I went through 35 keys just today and was not able to get a single medium shoulder. I got a light, which was 30 to begin with, but wasn't even able to hit it. I deconstructed most of them, but I just kept a few. So what Zon does, it gives a spell crit, and when you damage a nearby enemy with a light or heavy attack, you have a 20% chance to create a beam of fire that will connect you to your enemy. The beam deals 5.1k flame damage every 1 second to your enemies for 5 seconds. Every second this damage increases by 50%. The beam is broken if the enemy moves 8 meters away from you. That can occur every 18 seconds. This is a lot of damage, and it gets stronger. So because we're up close, definitely rock this. This comes from Skullcaller. If you're having a hard time getting through Vet Skullcaller, I understand those 2 ogres at the beginning can definitely be a pain for most groups. And if you don't have a group that knows what they're doing, or more or less a tank that knows what they're doing, it can definitely you can definitely stall out just on that very first boss. So if you're having trouble getting this, there is Scoria, which comes from City of Ash 2. That would be my second choice, and in some cases my first choice if I can't be up close. Or there is Alambris, which comes from Crypto Hearts 1. And there is Grafdar, which comes from Vault of Madness, which is another up-close set. So if you have to be ranged, Scoria would be my first choice, followed by Lambris. Then up-close, Zons, followed by Grafdar. So just a couple sets, other monster sets to get if you're having a hard time getting Zons, or if you're relatively lower CP and just keep getting booted from the groups. Now, Necropotence. This is an Overland drop set. I want to say it comes from Rivenspire. Yeah, I think Rivenspire, I believe. We're running it all on the body, all divines, all with max magicka. The reason why we're running on the body is because we want to keep it static at all times because of the set bonuses. It gives us max magicka, max magicka, max magicka. While you have a pet active, your max magicka is increased by 3.1k. So basically this helps with our sustain, even though sustain isn't much of an issue, but switching to Necropotence, we haven't really had any issues sustaining to begin with now. At one point, it was kind of it could be kind of difficult. You know, there was a rotation there in between Wall of Elements and Winter's Revenge where you could throw a heavy attack to help keep your resources up. But thanks to Necropotence, you don't really have to do that now. And then we're running Master Architect Jewelry on the body, all with spell damage. So I do have 2 blue here just to kind of show the difference. If you have purple, go for it. Or you can get blue and upgrade it. So if you don't have Master Architect, you could definitely, I still recommend running Necropotence at all times. But if you don't have Master Architect, you can run like Necropotence in the jewelry and on the body, and then craft you Julianos for the rest of the body, and then the weapons, even over Maelstrom. I mean, you can just couple Juliana staffs, you'll be okay. Or you can go Burning Spellweave if you're still rocking the double fire staff, which can help keep that up. Or because most of our most of our attacks are magic damage to begin with, you can go War Maiden, which comes from Vardenfell. And if you do that, a little tip, there is a quest up here from in this city where you will get a Dark Maiden staff. It is a fire staff infused, and if you would like, you know, as long as you have a character level 50, CP 160, if you do that quest, then as long as you're 160, you will get a 160 staff. So you can take a couple characters that you've leveled up, go up there and knock that quest out. It takes about 25 minutes. You'll do a quest for the city, then you'll do a quest where you have to run around and close Daedric portals. You will get a infused fire staff, which is nice for the War May. Or if you would like a lightning staff on the back bar, you can get one from doing the quest over here where you got to go through and do the bird eggs and stuff like that. You will get a precise lightning staff of the War Maiden, and then you will get an infused fire staff from doing the quest over here. So just remember the top 2 corners, you'll get a lightning and a fire staff. So anyways, onto the skills. Well, I haven't tried this with Scathing Mage, so I don't know. I can't guarantee. I don't know how that works. It probably works pretty good, decently, because we do have a lot of direct damage attacks. So, but I do know War Maiden and Burning Spellweave is a good combination if you don't have Master Architect and Necropotence. So, but definitely Necropotence is a good way to get, especially if you're going to run the Bear. So, skills. Front bar, we're running Inner Light. You know, we're running this because while Solid, your max magic is increased by 5%, and you gain Major Prophecy, increasing your spell critical rating by 2.1. And then we have the Blue Betty, call it Betty Niche to your side, which restores 5.38 Magicka to you over 27 seconds and grants you Major Sorcery, increasing your spell damage by 20%. When the niche is summoned, it removes 1 negative effect from you. So, with these 2 abilities right here, we get Major Prophecy, and we get Major Sorcery. So, we can use Trash Pots. We don't have to use our Spell Power Pots. So, you can basically, any Magicka pot you pick up through dungeons, you can use with this build, because it won't hurt nothing. You know, you're not missing out on anything because you have both of those abilities right here. In the Trash Pot, you know, you'll get I think it's like 1200 less Magicka restored to you when you pop the pot, but it's free, costs you no resources, and you still get the extra 20% to your recovery, or the extra recovery. So, and then we are running the Screaming Cliff Racer. Command a Cliff Racer to dive bomb an enemy, dealing 10.7k magic damage, and deals up to 15% more damage based on how far away the enemy is. Yeah, this is our main spell now. We were using Elemental Weapon. Let's see. Let's scroll down here. We was using Elemental Weapon, but thanks to the buff in the passives of the Animal Companions, now having an Animal Companion, you get an extra 3% damage done. Will increase your extra damage. So we have 12% here. If you wanted to, you can always take the Blue Betty Niche and put it on your back bar. You can drop your shield and put a Deep Fissure here. That will increase your damage as well. Or you can keep the Blue Betty here and just put the Blue Niche or the Deep Fissure here. It's up to you. But I like running the shield. Through most normal dungeons where I know I don't need a shield, I do put the Betty Niche on my back bar here and put Deep Fissure on my front bar and just kind of throw it in. Now, Flame Clench. Devastating an enemy with an enhanced charge from your staff, dealing 5.9k flame damage and additional 8.4k flame damage over 8 seconds. Also knocks enemy back 5 meters. The reason why we're running this, for the most part, at one point I was running Pulsar, or Impulse. I haven't fully leveled it yet. I was working on it. But the reason why is because we need a Destro staff on our front bar. Because we're running the Bear, so we can't put the Destro staff on our front bar, the ultimate, and then on our back bar put some other ability, you know, Northern Storm or Meteor. We can't put that because we're running the Bear and we got to have it double barred. So we're running one Destro Staff ability on our front bar, and I'm running Flame Clinch. If you would prefer to use Pulsar for more AoE damage, you can. I mean, it wouldn't be bad to use. But in this right here, I was able to orchestrate it into the rotation, and it doesn't hurt too much either. Pulsar, it was relatively hard to get it in the rotation without losing DPS. Fetcher Infection, unleash a swarm of Fetcher Flies to relentless attack an enemy, dealing 2.9k magic damage over 10 seconds. Every second cast of this ability deals 50% increased damage. Let me show you something. Well, all my buffs are off. Let me go down, turn this on real quick. Always show. Okay. Okay. So, as you can see, we got our buff showed up right there. When you cast this, you'll see the same icon symbol appear to buffs. It will stay there. So as you bar swap, as it goes on, even when it goes off from the damage, you'll see it's now no longer there. So you can cast it. It's still there until the second cast. So you can continue to go through your rotation. You can bar swap. You can do whatever. It's not going to hurt nothing, and it will still be there for that second cast. Essentially, let's just go ahead and kill this. All right. So that way the bear and stuff stops attacking. So that's why we run that. It's a huge dot. It's a very, very strong dot. One of our strongest dots for the Magicka Warden. So, and with these two dots, and we can just spam Cliff Racer, we'll get 3 or 4 of them off before we have to start the rotation over. Now, if you wanted to, you can still use Elemental Weapon if you choose to. It's up to you. But the Cliff Racer does more damage, as you can see. This has 9.6k magic damage. This does 10.7, and the further away, it deals 15% more damage. Plus, our abilities we get more damage to our abilities because of the fact of the 3% increase for having it slotted. So that's why we switched. Now we have the bar, my bad. The bear allows the grizzly to permanently fight by your side. The grizzly swipes an enemy dealing 3.4k magic damage, and sometimes swipes all enemies in front of it dealing 13.1k magic damage and stun them for 2 seconds. Once summoned, you can activate Garden's Wrath for 75 ultimate. 75, not 72. My bad. Causing the grizzly to maul an enemy for 16.5k magic damage, deals 100% more damage to enemies below 25% health. Once every minute, the grizzly respawns when killed. So it's 75 ultimate. It's relatively quick. Master Architect could go off, you know. So when you have the bear going, 75 ultimate, you just hit it. It attacks, and then all your damage is all your abilities will deal more damage with that major savagery. As you can see, it now does 24.4k damage instead of the 20k. This deals 6.3, 9k, and this is dealing 11.4k now. So it should be, I think I probably have to back out. Alright. So, it's going to be a second before it goes off. But either way. Onto the back bar. We're still running Inner Light because we got to have it double barred as well, along with the bear, to keep it consistently active. And we have our shield, Harness Magicka. Surround yourself with a net of magic negation to absorb up to 7.2k damage over 6 seconds. Damage shield strength capped at 40% of your max health. While active up to 3 times when spell damage is absorbed, you restore 1.2k Magicka. Each piece of light armor worn increases the magic restored by 5%. You can go dampen ward if you wanted to. It's up to you. I run Harness here. It's up to you. And I don't always run Harness. Sometimes I'll switch it up depending on the character that I'm using. I think the healer I run Harness on, or not Harness, but Dampen, and then this one I run Harness. Channel Acceleration. Bend time and space around you to gain major expedition for 9 seconds and minor force for 36 seconds. Increasing your movement speed by 30% and critical damage by 10%. Essentially, it's Rearming Trap. Rearming Trap does the same thing except it costs stamina to use. So if you, this comes from the Sigil line. I think it's going to be Sigil level 5 in order to get it. If you don't have the Sigil leveled up, you can run Trap Beast here and you'll be okay. Or you can put, if you don't really care about critical damage, if you don't, that's up to you. Preference, you can put the Bedding Niche on the back bar and put Deep Fissure on the front bar. So, just a little option there if you don't want to run Rearming Trap or Channel Acceleration. Then we're running Winter's Revenge. Conjuring ice shards at target location to skewer enemies in the area, dealing 2.3k frost damage every 1 second for 12 seconds, and reducing the movement speed of any enemy hit by 30% for 3 seconds. You just throw it down. It's a huge dot, so it lasts for a little while. It was the one where we could put Wall of Elements down, get a heavy attack off, and recast it, and then continue on with the rotation. So, But now we don't really need to because of Necropants. We have such a huge magic pool that we don't really run out. Blockade of Fire. Slam your staff down to create a flaming barrier in front of you, dealing 2.1k flame damage to enemies in the target area for 1 second. Burning enemies take 20% more damage from this ability. We keep this down because of Wall of Elements. Wall of Elements will definitely make this a whole lot stronger, make our light attack stronger. If we don't keep this down consistently, we will lose about 2 or 3k DPS. That's why we try to keep that down. And then we have the bear again on our back bar. So, but yeah, that is pretty much the setup that I've run. If you don't have the Master Architect Inferno staff, you can always, or if you don't really have some of this stuff, you can run like a Master Inferno staff, because we are using clinch. You know, it's going to deal an extra 2k direct damage, and it's going to reduce that cost by 30%. Infused with a flame enchant. There's also, you can run Willpower. Willpower is a nice little setup instead. Just gives you max Magicka and spell damage. It's definitely nice. It's 3-piece, and then you can run Necropotence on the body, and then some random staffs if you choose to. So, but that is pretty much the setup for the Magicka Warden. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section.